Major Garrett from the National Journal joins us now. Anything stand out to you in the debate last night?
Well, it was interesting. I watched the debate from the NBC truck. I was sort of National Journal's eyes and ears editorially for our part of the debate, as well as I had some role in the overall questions. And I mean, the one thing that struck me most was that Newt Gingrich decided to go into that debate to be meek and mild, to be the front runner who will not take offense and who will not strike back. And I talked to these people afterwards, and it was a very calculated strategy. They're going to see if the meek and mild Newt works, and they'll have 3 days to test that of polling before Thursday evening, when the next debate is. And they made it very clear to me that if they maintain what they think is positive momentum and don't lose anything, none of their support softens or tapers off, they're going to stick with this, quote-unquote, what I've called meek and mild Newt Gingrich. And if things do soften and people sort of say, well, wait, I like the fiery, combative Newt, well, then they'll return to that on Thursday. For the Romney campaign, I think he laid down every piece of evidence he's going to use to indict Speaker Gingrich in the next week. I think Romney felt satisfied with that as well.
Do you feel that he's very... I don't think he's particularly... We were talking about this before you came on, that he's particularly good on the attack.
Well, no, there are certainly people who are far better at it than Mitt Romney. He doesn't bring any evident gusto to it at all. It's not the way he likes to campaign. And he acknowledged when Brian Williams followed up, you said a week ago your biggest regret in this campaign is talking about people other than Barack Obama. He said, yeah, but I learned in South Carolina that if I don't respond, I'm going to lose.
All
well, that's what Gingrich said in Iowa. So it's all fair in love and war, but Mitt Romney doesn't bring to the task the kind of attitude that maybe some Republicans want to see. And I was talking afterwards, emailing with some conservative activists who watched the debate, and they were struck by something at the very tail end. When Brian Williams asked the question, what have you done, Governor Romney, to advance the conservative cause, he said, I raised a family. Well, that's a nice answer. There's nothing wrong with that. And certainly no one would begrudge him raising a family. But for a lot of conservative activists and possibly primary voters, they would have liked something far more specific about their issue set.
Were you surprised? I mean, it probably will play well in Florida with a lot of the elderly population there, that Newt Gingrich embraced Medicare Part D so much, and how will that play in the conservative base outside of Florida?
Well, he doesn't really have any choice, because he's in a position where if he doesn't embrace Medicare Part D, then he gets very much wrapped around the axle of what his consulting work was and what his philosophical bearings were. I mean, the great danger for Speaker Gingrich is people find in his consulting work after his life in Congress that he did things or adopted positions strictly because he was being paid for that. That would be the worst thing imaginable. I'm not saying that's what's going to happen, but he knows that's a possibly open flank for him. So he's going to have to say, look, everything I did in life that was a consulting practice also reinforced my philosophical belief. So he has to double down on Medicare Part D.
All right. Meanwhile, Rick Santorum and Ron Paul were on stage. Did they feel left out? Did they get short-shrifted here?
Well, they may have felt left out. Look, I can only speak for National Journal, what we tried to do, and what NBC tried to do. Look, you try to spread it around as best you can, but let's be honest. Both campaigns, certainly the Ron Paul campaign, has made it very clear they are not competing actively in Florida, okay? So by that very definition of their approach to Florida, we felt it was necessary to focus in on the two candidates who are leading in the polls and who are fighting most aggressively in Florida, and that's Newt Gingrich and Mitt Romney. And there really is no reason to apologize for that, because they're the two main actors in Florida. Santorum got plenty of chances to talk. I don't think he got short shrift. He actually, during one of the breaks, asked to weigh in on the Iran question and subject. We had thought we would move on, but as in deference to him and his very passionate request to weigh in on that, we put a question to him on Iran, and he got to play.
All right. Major, good to have you on. Thanks very much. Appreciate it.
Appreciate it, guys.
Major Garrett from National Journal here with us on the Morning Majority.